want to reorg with Teresa?
No.
Yeah.
Where's my paper with the reorg stuff?
Your reorg stuff?
Here it is. No, that's,
Yeah, we can share this.
yeah. I don't think we should with, 4 people,
Yeah.
with 3, how many are missing? 2, right?
Yeah.
Amanda, can you see me?
Yes.
Hi, sorry.
Darlene, I can see you.
Oh, yay. Okay, awesome. Thank you.
And all right. Ready? Okay, good evening. Welcome to the Finance Committee meeting, July 29th, 2020. We're going to call the meeting to order with a quorum. Tonight's agenda includes the reorganization of the Finance Committee, review and vote on transfer requests, review minutes, and adjourn. The first item, reorganization, we have 4 of 6 members present tonight, so I think we'll wait on the reorganization until we have a full complement of members. Any questions on that? Okay, the next item is transfers. Okay, for transfers, we'll look at the first is the fire department transfers. The first transfer is from the clothing account. The amount requested, $330.50, and that's going to building maintenance. And the reason for the transfer is to cover expense for emergency repairs to headquarter furnace. Does anyone have any questions?
Madam Chair, I have one question.
Yes.
Chief, is this a year-end transfer, or is this a FY21 transfer?
No, this was a year-end FY20.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, do I hear Ed, do I hear a motion to approve this transfer?
Motion to approve?
Thank you. Mallory, do I hear a second? Thank you, Mallory.
Yes.
All in favor? Ann is yes. Mallory?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And Mike?
Yes.
Thank you. And all opposed? The next transfers are also for the fire department, and all coming out of the overtime account. Chief Coleman, can you just tell us, are these fiscal 2020 or 2021?
So all of the transfers that you have before you tonight are all end of the year for FY20.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, the first transfer is coming from the overtime account, and the amount requested is 4 cents, and it's going to administrative assistant salary account. And the reason for the transfer is to cover account deficit. Ed, do I hear a motion to approve?
Madam Chair, can we take these as a group?
Oh, I thought it was only if the go, okay, all right.
Second?
They're all coming out of the same account.
Yes, let's back up just a second. My apologies. All the transfers are coming from the same account, so Ed, do I hear a motion that we can take these transfers together?
Motion to take them all together?
Thank you. Mallory, do I hear a second?
Second?
Second, all in favor. Ann is yes. Mallory?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And Mike?
Yes.
Okay. So the first transfer is coming from the overtime account, 4 cents, going to administrative assistant salary account. The next transfer is also coming from the overtime account, $129.16, going to the chief's holiday pay account. The third transfer is coming from overtime account, $28.42, going to deputy chief's salary account. And the last transfer from the overtime account, amount requested $5,252.40, going to the firefighter salary account. The reason for all the transfers is to cover an account deficit. Does anyone have a question? Ed, do I hear a motion? Ed, do I hear a motion to approve these transfers?
Motion to approve?
Thank you. Mallory, do I hear a second?
Second?
Thank you. All in favor? Ann is yes. Mallory?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And Michael? Okay, thank you. All right, the next transfers are for the police department. There are 3 transfers, and they're all coming from the same account, patrolman. Do I hear a motion to take these 3 transfers together, Ed?
Motion?
Thank you. Mallory, do I hear a second?
Second?
Okay, all in favor. Ann is yes. Mallory?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And Mike?
Yes.
Okay, and all opposed, none. So these are for fiscal 2020, for the year it has just ended. First transfer coming from the patrolman account is $5,146.39 going to dispatcher's account. The next transfer, also coming from patrolman, $1,244.05 going to sergeant's account. The next transfer, also coming from patrolman, $4,413.68, also going to patrolman Quinn account. These are all for, reason for all these is offset year-end payroll deficit. Do I hear any questions on these transfers? No? Ed, do I hear a motion to approve these transfers?
Motion to approve?
Thank you. Mallory, do I hear a second?
Second?
Thank you. All in favor? Ann is yes. Mallory?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And Mike?
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you. The next transfer, also fiscal 2020, is for the solid waste department. Mr. Kazanovich, could you just give us, before we get into the transfers, an update on our solid waste account for the fiscal 21, the year we're in?
So we just entered into a new contract. Republic's contract expired on 6/30, 2020.
I can't hear you at all.
Just lean in more, he can't hear you. so
Oh,
just
it's not going through these?
Yeah, we don't put those things, get me closer to that.
Is that any better?
It's much better, thank you.
Okay. So effective 6/30/2020, our contract with Republic ended. We began with the efforts of Darlene Coyle and her department. They put out a bid. Casella won the bid. Those services started July 1 of 2020, both on the trash collection as well as the recycling. The transfers before you tonight are for final invoices that were billed to us from Republic. There was some additional costs associated with that billing that we are addressing in these transfers, and this will close the chapter on Republic, which was a 5-year contract, once again terminated on June 30th.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kazanovich. Is our new contract 5 years or 3 years?
It's a 3 with a 2-year option.
Okay.
Is that correct, Darlene? 3 and 2, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So the transfers we have tonight, the first transfer is coming from the other pickup account. Amount requested $2,075.77. That's going to solid waste collection. The reason is offsets year-end deficit to meet 6/30/2020 liability. Ed, do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Mallory, do I hear a second?
Second?
Okay, all in favor? Ann is yes. Mallory?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And Mike?
Yes.
Thank you. The next transfer is coming from solid waste disposal, $1,602.44 going to solid waste collection. And the reason given is offset year-end deficit. Ed, do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Thank you. Mallory, do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Ann is yes. Mallory?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And Mike?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The last transfer under solid waste is coming from staff assistant line. Amount requested $1,289.96 going to the solid waste collection, and that's to offset year-end deficit to meet 6/30/2020 liability. Ed, do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Thank you. Mallory, do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Ann is yes. Mallory?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And Mike?
Yes.
Thank you. The next transfer, the next two transfers are for the DDIS Board of Health. The first transfer is coming from Education. $755.05 is the amount requested, and it's going to the clerical salary. Reason for transfer is clerical salary shortage, clerical error. Ed, do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Thank you. Mallory, do I hear a second?
Second.
Thanks. All in favor? Ann is yes. Mallory?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And Mike?
Yes.
Thank you. The next transfer is from miscellaneous supplies, amount requested $278.56 going to the DDIS director salary. And the reason for transfer, director salary shortage, clerical error. Ed, do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Mallory, do I hear a second?
Second.
Thanks. All in favor? Ann is yes. Mallory?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And Mike Marshall?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. The next transfer is for the Auburn Community TV. The amount is coming from the contingency fund, and the amount requested is $5,266.07 going to the salary line. Reason for transfer, to transfer amount of COLA and job evaluation increases for fiscal 2020. It was built into the contingency, but the transfer was never prepared. Mr. Kazanovich, can you tell us about this?
So if you recall, back in the summer, we brought a series of transfers before you in consideration for the COLAs that were already built into the budget, but for the performance evaluation of 1%. Unlike community TV, those increases were accounted for in the contingency but never transferred into the proper line item.
Gotcha.
So as a result, we included it in the budget, but it wasn't in its proper place. We're just making a correction at this point in time.
Okay, thank you. So that was an anticipated COLA and job evaluation increase. Ed, do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Thank you. Mallory, do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? Ann is yes. Mallory?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And Mike?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The next transfer we have is for DPW Highway. The first transfer is coming from the wages line. The amount requested $1,247 going to the overtime account. And the reason for transfer will eliminate the deficit. Ed, do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Mallory, do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Ann is yes. Mallory?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And Mike?
Yes.
Thank you. The next transfer, coming from DPW Highway, clerical line, $476.37 going to the license line. And the reason for the transfer is that the transfer will eliminate the deficit. Ed, do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion approved?
Thank you. Mallory, do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Ann is yes. Mallory?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And Mike?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The next transfer is for the Parks Department. One transfer, coming from the line seasonal, amount requested $542.39, going to the overtime account. Reason for transfer to offset year-end payroll deficit due to COVID-19 cleaning of restrooms at Pappas Complex. Ed, do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion approved?
Thank you. Mallory, do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor. Ann is yes. Mallory?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And Mike?
Yes.
Thank you. The next transfer is for the DPW fleet maintenance. The transfer is coming from the highway wages account. Amount requested is $340.51 going to fleet wages, and this is to cover the year-end deficit. Ed, do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion approved?
Thank you. Mallory, do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Ann is yes. Mallory?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And Mike?
Yes.
Okay, great. The next transfer, the next several transfers are for the DPW golf course. They're coming from the same account?
No.
We don't have any?
The first one, they're both going into the same account, so you
So
could...
you can do it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, the first set of transfers, we have two transfers going into the food concession account. So do I hear a motion, Ed, that we take these transfers together?
Motion?
Thank you. Do I hear a second, Mallory?
Second.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Ann is yes. Mallory?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And Michael?
Yes.
Thank you. The first transfer is coming from the miscellaneous supplies, $275.51 going to the food concession line. The next transfer coming from equipment maintenance, $85.28 going to food concession, and the reason for the transfers are to eliminate the deficit in that account. Ed, do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion approved?
Thank you. Mallory, do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor. Ann is yes. Mallory?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And Mike?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The next transfers are both going to the same account, banking, charges, and expenses. Ed, do I hear a motion that we can take these together?
Motion?
Thank you. Mallory, do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor. Ann is yes. Mallory?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And Mike?
Yes.
Thank you. So the first transfer is coming from equipment maintenance, $133.52 going to banking, charges, and expenses. The next transfer is coming from building maintenance, $281.26 going to banking, charges, and expenses. And the reasons are that these transfers will help eliminate the deficit. So, Ed, do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion?
Thank you. Mallory, do I hear a second?
Second.
Thanks. All in favor? Ann is yes. Mallory?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And Mike?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The next transfer is also for the golf course. These three I can take them together, right? These three transfers are all going into seasonal golf. So, Ed, do I hear a motion that we can take these three transfers together?
Motion?
Thank you. Mallory, do I hear a second?
Second?
Thank you. All in favor? Ann is yes. Mallory?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And Mike?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So the first transfer is coming from fuel, and the amount requested, $3,391.56, going to seasonal golf. The second transfer is coming from miscellaneous supplies, $874.02, going to seasonal golf. And the third transfer is coming from the merchandise account, $4,439.03, going to seasonal golf. And the reason is that the additional cost is related to COVID expense. Mr. Coyle, can you give us an update on this, please?
Yes, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
When we were first allowed to open the golf course this year, for us to be able to open, we had certain requirements relative to COVID-19, which required quite a bit more work relative to the clubhouse and having additional staff for cleaning purposes, meeting customers outside when they weren't allowed into the clubhouse. We had to have a staff person available in addition to an additional person inside the clubhouse, also answering phone calls and taking tee times, in addition to needing to clean the golf carts as the use of golf carts were allowed. So we've had to pretty much double the amount of staff for the seasonal employees for us to adhere to all the COVID-19 requirements.
Thank you, Mr. Coyle. Ed, do I hear a motion to approve these three transfers?
Can I ask a question?
Sure. Mike, sure.
This is Mike Marshall on the Finance Committee. Yep, I'm curious, Mr. Coyle, how profitable it has been to be open given the additional expense. Like, is the town still making money, or is this?
Yeah, interesting enough, we've actually been extremely busy, and we are exceeding last year's amount of funds that came in at this time of year. So I'm amazed at how well we were actually doing. I'm not sure it's because people are looking to get out and maybe not vacationing as much, but so far this year we're actually exceeding where we were last year and the previous year to that. So we're doing very well so far.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Coyle. That's good to hear. It always looks busy when I drive by. All
Yeah,
right.
very busy.
Good. Ed, do I hear a motion to approve these transfers?
Motion to approve?
Thank you. Mallory, do I hear a second?
Second?
Okay, all in favor. Ann is yes. Mallory?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And Mike?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The next two transfers, I can't take these together, right? Okay.
No.
Okay, the next two transfers are from, in the general services account. The first is coming from streetlights. Amount requested $338.68, going to electricity. The reason for the transfer, offset year-end deficit to meet 6/30/2020 liability. Ed, do I hear a motion to approve this transfer?
Motion to approve?
Thank you. Mallory, do I hear a second?
Second?
Okay, all in favor. Ann is yes. Mallory?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And Mike?
Yes.
Great, thank you. The next transfer, also coming from the streetlights account, $1,709.22, going to the telephone account to offset year-end deficit to meet 6/30/2020 liability. Any questions? Okay, Ed, do I hear a motion to approve this transfer?
Motion to approve?
Thank you. Mallory, do I hear a second?
Second?
Thank you. All in favor? Ann is yes. Mallory?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And Mike?
Yes.
thank you. All set. The last transfer is coming from the reserve account. It's for fiscal 2020. The amount requested is, this amount is going to unemployment compensation. The amount requested, $32,169.28. Reason for shortage in said account to cover cost of unemployment compensation for March, April, May, June to be invoiced by DET the second week in August. And that's unemployment compensation due to COVID-19. Mr. Kasnovich, can you just tell us about this, please?
Sure. So the Department of Employment indicated that they have not invoiced and won't do so until August, retroactive back to March. So I have to provide this amount of money, carry it over to meet this obligation for FY20. Our unemployment comp prior to March was running about $2,000 per month. In June, the claims activity was about $15,000 per month. So if you do the math, if this continues, $15,000 per month at 12 months is about $180,000 per year. So certainly we may have to make a correction to the FY21, provided that the level of unemployment comp continues. We're hoping it will soften a little bit, but with the resurgence, we don't know. So this is something that we're keeping an eye on, and we'll definitely have to make an adjustment upwards to meet at least a heavy load for the first 6 months. We don't know what the second 6 months is gonna bring to Auburn.
Thank you, Mr. Kasnovich. Any questions? Mr. Kavanaugh, I don't know if you can say this, but, how many employees have been laid off in the town due to COVID-19?
So we have, I believe, about 3 employees on the town side. I'm not so sure there are any layoffs as of this date on the school side. I think there have been some terminations that may have resulted in unemployment comp, but certainly you have to go back and you have to look at the last 4 quarters or even longer that may impact employees who formerly worked in Auburn that are entitled to a benefit that we're charged.
I understand. So they might not have been laid off by the town of Auburn, but they would have been employed by the town of Auburn within the last 12 months?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Any questions? Hearing none. Ed, do I hear a motion to approve this transfer?
Motion to approve?
Thank you. Mallory, do I hear a second?
Second?
Okay, all in favor. Ann is yes. Mallory?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And Mike?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, that's it for transfers. The next item in our agenda is to just talk about the minutes. We received them via email from Sharon. Does anyone have any questions on the minutes?
No.
No? Okay, so we can accept them as read, and if anyone has any questions, you can certainly bring that up later. Do we need a vote on these?
No, except as written.
We're accepted as written. Okay, and the last, before we adjourn, I just wanted to ask Mr. Kasnovich to give us an update on state aid and what the status is on that, please.
Okay, sure, I'd be happy to do that. I'm also would like the committee to consider authorizing you, Madam Chair, if there are 1 or 2 transfers. Certainly, we believe we captured all of them, but if there is a straggler or 2, that they authorize you to approve a verbal transfer, just so we can close the books without calling a meeting. Those votes can be ratified at your next meeting.
Okay. Do we put a dollar amount in it?
No, I think we can, I think you've authorized me to do up to 250, but if something should come in late or requires some immediate attention, that they authorize you to approve those transfers.
Okay, so, Ed, do I hear a motion that you would, a motion to allow the Finance Committee Chair to verbally approve transfers that we would then approve in a meeting later on?
Oh, definitely. I'll make that motion.
Thank you. And Mallory, do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Ann is yes. Mallory?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And Mike?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So, continuing, Mr. Kazanovich, have you heard, what have you...
So Tuesday of this week, we had a statewide conference call with municipal managers, town administrators, with the lieutenant governor. And we've had, since COVID-19, weekly briefings every Tuesday. They have now that we're in phase 3, they're holding these meetings once a month. So I think our next scheduled meeting is August 25th. So there's been a lot of hand-wringing, a lot of questions regarding state aid. What I can tell you at this point is the information we received is that we're not going to get any state numbers probably until the beginning of October. And we were hoping that after the conclusion of our annual town meeting, that we would have an opportunity to reconvene based upon some revised state numbers and bring something to the town meeting members midsummer or late summer. Based upon the information we received, that's not going to happen. We are planning on, and we had a discussion with school superintendent, with the school business manager, that would probably look to continue to address a diluted FY20 budget, somewhere in the vicinity of 2.75%, move forward with that, and make any last-minute adjustments, either on the town meeting floor, or if we can react prior to that. So that's all I know right now. Certainly, that really puts us up against the wall. It doesn't give much time for communities to react, but it is what it is, and we're going to have to do the best we can given the information we receive from the state. So we'll do our best to keep you informed. Certainly, there may be some information that may give us some indication as to where the state is prior to that October release, but we'll keep you informed as we're getting information.
Well, all right. Anyone have any questions?
So, Madam Chair, we are planning on the board meeting of August 10th of having an agenda item to open up the warrant, schedule a town meeting tentatively for October 26th. Certainly, we need to do that in order to move forward in setting a tax rate, holding a public hearing to set that tax rate. I think if we go beyond the 26th, that really puts pressure on the assessor's office to get a lot of work done in a little amount of time.
All right, so the Board of Selectmen will meet on August 10th, and the warrant will be open for the October 26th special town meeting. Okay. Does anyone have any other questions?
I was just curious what the reorganization was that was on the agenda. I didn't see any docs in the emails that we'd gotten.
Oh, that was, that's to elect a vice chair and a chair. And we put it on hold until we have all of our members here. We have 4 out of 6 tonight.
Absolutely makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome. The next time we have 6, we'll put it on, or we'll do it.
Okay.
All right, well, hearing no other questions, do I hear a motion, Ed, to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Thank you. Mallory, a second?
Second?
Thanks, Mallory. So all in favor? Ann is yes. Mallory?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned.